to the first post-Raw edition of DA Wrestling. I am Doug. I'm here with Andrew.
Stop!
Not much, man. Very exciting edition of Raw from Des Moines, Iowa tonight.
Home of Slipknot,
Home of Slipknot,
one of our favorite bands.
absolutely. I still think about that concert, by the way.
Good show.
Absolutely. But yeah, so it is actually the last Raw of this year.
It is, because everybody else is on vacation after this.
Well, next week is Christmas Day,
Yep.
and that's probably going to be like a best of show.
Yeah, I don't think they really want to go up against Monday Night Football because there's, I think, 3 games on Christmas Day this year. So I don't think they want to go against football.
And they're going to be competing. They're going to be competing against the NBA too.
Yeah, so I don't think they really have it in mind to do it. But lots of things seem to have happened on Raw this week. I see Drew McIntyre decided Alabama slam Seth Rollins into some steps, if I recall that.
There's a reason. There's a reason why, and I'll get to it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that one too.
Okay, so you know what?
Let's get into Raw.
Yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. So, Raw opened up with the Judgment Day.
Uh-huh.
They came in, cutting a promo. Out comes R-Truth.
Oh, lovely.
After the beatdown that the Judgment Day gave him last week.
He's just that Joker, R-Truth.
And he's still delusional, thinking he's still in the Judgment Day.
Well, yeah, he's good fun.
And which ends up goading JD McDonough into a loser leaves the Judgment Day match.
Really?
Which was the Miracle on 34th Street fight that they do every year.
I just want to say it's nice to see JD McDonough has recovered from that RKO from the top of the cage.
Yeah,
he looks well.
Damien accepted. So this was this kicked off the show, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. R-Truth looked like he hasn't missed a step. He hasn't had a legitimate match in a year.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, he blew his quad or ripped his ACL or something on NXT.
Did he? Was that on NXT?
Yeah, last year. And so Dom was at ringside. He kept getting involved. But the finish of the match, R-Truth takes out Dom. Him and JD meet up at the top rope. There's a table in the corner. And they both kind of fall through the table, and R-Truth pins JD McDonough.
So that means JD McDonough is out of the Judgment Day.
R-Truth is in. I'll get to that. He's not, but
that's disappointing.
I know. I found it disappointing too. But
R-Truth like that.
And they kept hyping up all the the 3 title matches on the show. After that opener, it was like 8:30 already.
Yep.
And out came Nia Jax, who was going to cut a promo on Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch interrupted her before she even spoke a word. And
I don't know why they brought that broad back. I really don't.
Well,
I don't.
No, I don't either. But Becky Lynch and Nia Jax is going to happen for the first time ever on day 1 in San Diego in 2 weeks.
Well, they weren't doing it day 1 anymore. I was the impression they weren't doing day 1s anymore.
It's Raw day 1.
Oh, Raw day 1. Oh.
And SmackDown, the first SmackDown of the year, is New Year's Revolution. I just figured this out tonight too. So
now we're just doing like imaginary pay-per-views on live TV now. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? The Triple H, Papa H is okay then.
Well, no, I guess this is like going to be like the major shows where you get some blow-offs to feuds before you build to the Royal Rumble. Right? So after they get pulled apart, it was time for Miz and Gunther, and holy crap, dude, you need to go watch this match.
Gunther won.
Of course he did.
That's great because Gunther deserves to have that title holder. So I think he did. I don't think he can lose it until WrestleMania.
But you know what? We sat down, watched Survivor Series, and that was a good match.
It was.
There was no callbacks
Okay.
to that match,
All right.
and like Gunther just went Super Saiyan at the end, dude. Like the Miz hit a second rope skull crushing finale.
Mm-hmm.
Gunther rolled out of the ring. As Miz gets him back in the ring, Gunther just wails him with a clothesline, picks him up, hits a rainmaker.
Really? Like an
Hit,
O'Connor Rainmaker?
yes, yes. He hit a rainmaker, followed by a like the third power bomb of the match, which finally finished off the Miz.
Jeez.
Um, Miz was working the hand the whole match. I mean, Gunther tried this like really cool um, uh, take on a cravat crossface submission. Like it looked painful as shit, but
Oh,
because he was selling the hand,
yes.
uh, it didn't have that effectiveness.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
after that match, yeah, after that match, he goes to the back and tells Kaiser and Vinci that he's taken a few weeks off and they should consider this year a complete write off for them. And when he takes time off, he wants them to stay and um, grind and finally impress him because he feels like he's the only one contributing
To
uh,
Imperium.
to Imperium. Exactly. Um,
Well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, those two aren't really doing anything really much in Imperium anyway. They're kind of just there to help Gunther and his baggage.
fair
So
enough.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably better off just maybe. I liked how they were. I feel Imperium was better suited in the NXT UK. I felt they were better, more dominant there, and also just in NXT in general. I found they were better off. They haven't, to me, really clicked much on the main roster other than Gunther, obviously.
Yeah. Um, also, throughout the night, we dealt with Kofi Claus.
Fuck
Uh,
sakes.
yes, Kofi Kingston dressed up as Santa and was handing out gifts to everybody in the audience as well as in the back.
Are we sure
So,
he wasn't celebrating Kwanzaa?
no comment.
Just checking.
But so he ends the segment by giving Kaiser a lump of coal. Um,
Well, Kaiser is kind of a cunt.
um, so the women's tag team titles were on the line.
Yes, I saw that, and we have new champions.
Yes, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance
Yes.
are the new tag team champions, which I thought was pretty like it didn't come out of nowhere. Like I figured,
Well, I feel they weren't really much into the title contention. I mean, they were kind of talked about going for the titles. I know they did a couple promos like that. Um, I just kind of surprised they pulled trigger on that though.
I'm not.
Well,
I'm not
I
surprised
was
at
a
all
little
because
surprised by it.
they're an established team,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the only established team in that entire women's tag team division.
That is very true, actually.
Um, and I mean Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, they've been they've been champions for way too long. Um, yeah. Um, there was uh Bronson Reed talking to Adam Pearce about being the next challenger for Gunther.
I really hope they do something with Bronson Reed this year coming up with the new year coming up.
I
I
think
like
you
Bronson Reed.
I think you will see I think you will see it would not shock me if Bronson Reed's the one to beat Gunther.
I can see that.
I could totally see.
I think that would be a hell of a good match. I think that's be like a match that's just it's gonna bring everything together. I think him and Gunther is gonna have a banger.
Listen, Bronson Reed can have a match with a fucking broomstick, and it'd be good. Like
He could.
this man went. This dude like went through the G1 like a tsunami, pun intended.
Yes.
Um, he went through the G1 with matches against Okada. He's beaten Okada. He's beaten Naito. You know, he beat a who's who in New Japan.
Yeah.
You know, so I think Bronson Reed definitely has a good 2024 on the horizon.
Yeah.
Um,
I think with 2024, a lot of stuff you're gonna see are gonna be a lot of guys that were Triple H guys. Let's call them Triple H guys.
just heating up throughout the end of the year.
Yeah, I can see it with now that Vince is pretty much out of the way because he's
Yeah,
pretty much like he was in the middle and then they kind of just took one of those slides and went,
yeah.
now it's
After Ari Emanuel threw him under a bus.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think you're gonna see a lot of people who were Triple H guys in NXT
yeah.
do a lot better. Like I really hope they do something with Champa, like the Blackheart stuff I loved in NXT, the Golden Age, as we like to call it.
It would not surprise me if you see DIY as tag team champions in 2024.
Absolutely not. I think it's gonna be. I think it's absolutely going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely not going to shock me.
Right. So there was also the American Nightmare Before Christmas, which was Shinsuke Nakamura's revised version of the night before Christmas.
You know, the only real good version of the revised version is the Married Children version with Al Bundy. You should read it sometime. It's quite comical. But anyway, let's go with Shinsuke's Nakamura version.
So after he's done reading this, he's cutting a promo in Japanese, and Cody attacks him. They brawl out to the arena, and it ends with Cody standing on the announce table. Um, yeah, that feud's gonna keep going.
Part of me wants. I'm not, I know it's not the popular decision, but part of me wants Shinsuke Nakamura to win that feud. He's not, but I'd like to see him win that feud.
I wouldn't mind Shinsuke getting a win over Cody
No,
because,
I don't think Cody doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
well, not just that, Cody's literally been pinned twice since he returned 2 years ago.
And they were one was by Reigns and the other was by
Brock Lesnar.
was he pinned by Brock or submitted by Brock?
No, no. Well, I think he pinned him with an F5.
Or did he DQ him?
No, no. Like he's only been defeated twice in singles competition.
Yeah, so the other ones were DQ. Now. I know one of the ones was DQ of Brock. I know that.
Yeah. Um. So there was also an impromptu match between Ivar and Akira Tozawa that was way more competitive than it had to be.
Probably comedic as hell too.
It was hilarious. Um, to see Tozawa like constantly dodge out of the way of Ivar and stuff like that. But eventually, Ivar from the top rope hit a world's strongest slam. And that was it for Akira Tozawa tonight.
You know, I think we need to see Ivar do even more of a single run. If anybody wants to see that, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below on this. I want to hear what people think of this. I think Ivar would be fun as like a singles guy without
Well,
Eric.
considering Eric is already always hurt.
Yeah, I feel like he just should just go to Ivar because I
Yeah,
think it'd just be really good. Like I like to hear people's comments on that because I think it'd be amazing to see. So what else?
it's crazy. I've been watching that dude since like 2012,
Yeah, he's
2013.
back with the War Machine.
Yeah. And there was also another impromptu match between because Kofi Claus came back out and he was
Oh,
handing out gifts, and then he was jumped by Imperium. And main event Jey Uso came to make the save, which prompted a match between Ludwig Kaiser and Jey Uso.
Mhm.
Not a bad match.
Yep.
Not a bad match at all. Especially between those two. Like you really got nothing
Yeah.
to worry about. Kaiser was in control. Kofi came back out,
Mhm.
distracted him, took out Vinci with a Trouble in Paradise, which distracted Kaiser long enough for Jey Uso to hit a spear, Uso splash. That's all she wrote.
Where is Xavier Woods? Is
I
he
don't
injured
know.
again?
I don't know if he's hurt or taking time off.
I have no idea. I haven't seen him
No
for a
clue.
couple of weeks on Raw at all. So I'm kind of curious to what's
I don't know if he just wasn't there this week,
no, I have no idea.
but
You know,
uh,
I just don't mean to stop you right now because I'm enjoying this, but you have not mentioned the elephant in the room yet. Was he not on the show today? Was Mr. Chick Magnet Punk not on the show today?
no, but that brings me to um, I wanted to get through the little stuff and the two big things left to happen. The top of the 10 o'clock hour, Seth Rollins comes out, addresses the crowd, being in Iowa. Um, and he was talking about, the promo last week and stuff like that. Then out comes Drew McIntyre. And Drew starts, speaking from the heart about, the sacrifice that they have to make, chasing this crazy dream of being a pro wrestler,
Mhm.
and missing birthdays and weddings and,
Mhm.
you know, parents getting sick and, eventually dying and stuff like that. And like,
Very deeply personal.
oh yeah, he was like he's starting to contemplate, is it all worth it?
Yeah.
And he just says to Seth, uh, I don't want your title. I need your
Mhm.
title to know that this is worth it. And Seth, he said that he respects Drew, but he pities Drew.
Why
And
does he pity Drew?
because the because in Seth Rollins' words, the only thing stopping Drew McIntyre from being a world champion is Drew McIntyre. And Drew still refuses to take responsibility for his actions, and always pointing the finger at everybody else.
Mhm.
You know, so that set off Drew, who attacked Seth. Seth hit him with a suicide dive, and then Drew came back with a headbutt and a reverse Alabama slam on the steel steps. And
Yes.
Seth was selling the arm. So I think that might come into play in their title match at day one.
That's gonna be an interesting one. You know what? I know it's not gonna happen, but I do want to see. I like to see Drew win the title here, but it's not gonna happen. It's just not.
No,
I hate to break it to everybody. It's just not gonna happen.
I think the earliest that Seth loses the title is WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be probably the Punk. That Punk and Brawls match is seemingly more and more like it's gonna happen at Mania. I mean, I know I said probably Rumble, but I think it's going to happen probably more and more at the Mania. I just feel that's what the direction they want to go. I think they want to keep the plans with Cody and Roman, but
The only way to get Cody over to SmackDown
that's what you'd have to do, right? Is move Cody to SmackDown.
is Cody to win the Rumble.
Yeah,
But I don't know, because I don't think it's as definitive as it was maybe 3, 4 months ago. It's not as definitive as it was 3 weeks ago,
no, it's not. But
because now that Punk's back, you
oh yeah,
gotta
Punk's a game changer in this.
you gotta you gotta consider, all the things that he was kind of sour about in his first run.
Yeah, you got to consider what he said on SmackDown too on the Tribute the Truth show, where he said headlining WrestleMania.
Yeah,
It's almost like it's going to happen. I mean, now they WD had in the past has teased stuff like this before, and this never happened. But this is too big of an opportunity, especially to have this.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, if you're gonna do it, WrestleMania is what, 2 nights nowadays?
yeah.
At least it was for the last couple of years. You have Seth and CM Punk do the one day. The
Hmm.
next day, you have Cody and Roman.
Yeah.
Unless in CM Punk's mind is to end the whole thing, to end WrestleMania completely, not just a night, but both to end the whole thing, the whole extravaganza, then you'd have to have against Roman.
Yeah.
Unless like it all depends on what I guess he would define as the main event of WrestleMania.
But so that brings up an interesting thing that I keep hearing. Um, and it pertains to Roman Reigns and his very limited schedule. And there is
Before you get into that,
so
did you notice on X they showed the two screens. Hulk Hogan 140 something 1,400 days or something like that, and Roman was 1,200 days. This was a couple
yeah,
days ago.
he has to hold it till September in order to
Mm-hmm.
break Hogan's record. It depends.
It,
And
yeah.
it depends on Roman's health.
Mm,
Now, I say this because of what I keep seeing from a portion of now, no one in wrestling media is talking about this right now, but
no, I don't
a
think so.
lot of I don't know if you know where I'm going, but there's a large enough amount of people speculating that Roman could possibly retire after WrestleMania because, his body internally is really scarred up from battling leukemia. And that may have something to do with the fact that, you know, that may very well be the reason that he's worked so limited dates this year. And I just want to know what you think.
If Roman were to retire,
Hmm?
it's a great way to retire. It's probably the best runs he's ever any wrestlers had in the past 20 years.
20, dude.
I'm just giving a
You
number at 20. It's probably
you
more like
gotta you
30.
gotta go back 40 years.
You know what I mean? Probably one of the best runs anybody's ever had. So I mean, to be honest, it wouldn't. I would be shocked if he did retire, but
Same.
I also could understand where he's coming from. I mean, he is on a limited schedule now. He has like a Brock schedule, basically,
Yeah, and
right?
I think that, you know, it's funny because it feels like it was so long ago.
Yeah. I mean,
But when he announced his leukemia was in remission, that was
2019.
yeah, that was early 2019.
Because his first real match back
Was WrestleMania
was
against Drew.
yes, and it was like he was never gonna lose that match. Everyone knows that, and I think
No.
Drew even knows that. I mean, everyone knew that too.
And listen,
So
I thought back then like he's wrestling on borrowed time. So I don't know how many more of especially this generational run that he's been on the last three and a half years.
well, don't forget too when the pandemic happened, he had to leave
Yeah, yeah, he
because
went
of
home.
compromised immune system.
Oh, absolutely.
So he didn't come back till about what
August.
August of that year,
Yeah.
and he won the title, and he's been holding it ever since.
So basically, he came back at SummerSlam. Payback was a week later. He
Yeah.
won the title, and there. Okay, so literally since he returned in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
he's gone 1 week without the title,
Mm-hmm.
which was the first week back.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
It's a
I
It's a
I
run for the
will
ages.
I will always, I've always supported Roman Reigns. Um, you know, he's one of my guys.
Mhm.
And, you know, I hope that this is just a bunch of people speculating.
I mean, I look. I'm not going to go into speculation because we've seen what speculation happens here in this country with a certain player. Okay, so we don't
You
really
mean you
just
mean baseball's new villain?
yeah. So well, at least here in
The
Toronto,
more
like,
the more the more I keep reading about that contract, the more pissed off I get.
yeah. But
But
they're not talking. Let's not talk about that right now. But like
sensitive subject?
it's look. There's nothing we can do about it. Nothing anybody can do about it. It's stupid. But anyway, um, like we learned from that experience that speculating unless without hard evidence or
Yeah.
hard there's not always smoke where there's fire. We learned that here in Toronto with the whole
Right.
Shohei Otani thing, right?
Hmm.
In fact, that Morosi guy is making another speculation too. Fuck him. But about Bellinger. But that's not wrestling right now. But we've learned that not to do that here. So
Right.
unless there's like some hard coming from Roman's mouth or someone in that row in that group,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take anything forward until that happens. This is a grain of
Of
salt.
course. Of course.
This
This
is really
is
like this much.
yeah. And well, I just found it interesting because, you know, I guess enough time passed where people might have actually forgotten that this man actually lives with leukemia.
Yeah, he's in remission now. He's been in remission now for a couple of years. But like the cold hard truth is that chances
He's on
are,
borrowed time.
chances are this is going to kill him. Trust me.
Eventually,
Eventually, it's going to be what kills him. Eventually,
of
right?
course. But look, the way I see it, you can get three big programs, four big programs left at a Reigns. If you can accomplish these four, he's done everything.
So
Seth,
yeah,
because they need this version of both of them needs to happen because that DQ at the Royal Rumble 2 years
yeah.
ago
Mhm.
does not fucking count.
Okay. So you go. We'll get back to Seth in a second here, but you give me the rest of the other ones.
Punk,
Yeah, that's obvious. That's a kid.
yeah. If you can do it, the Rock match,
That's a big if.
right? And then Solo.
Mm.
Those are the four big programs. And I'm talking as Solo as a heel,
Roman's a face.
Roman as a babyface after Solo finally turns on him.
Yeah, I can't see Solo ever being a face. I just
How?
don't see it. I could be wrong. I just don't see it. But I'm gonna bring it back to Seth.
Okay.
Now, this may not be popular, may be popular, may not. What if Seth's the one that dethrones Roman Reigns? And then he goes.
Ooh.
He gets through Punk. He gets through The Rock, because The Rock doesn't need a title, but they'll have a title on it anyway. And he gets through Solo. And you bring back the whole Shield thing with Seth. And Seth's the one that ends the title and the career. You almost got to have it as Seth. Go full circle.
Seth would be a very fitting, and actually the more I think about it, I can't think of a bigger retirement match for Roman than Seth.
I think you'd. I think Roman would. I think it's hard to argue that Roman would not want Seth to be the one that retires him.
Right.
If any of this is true, this is all speculation,
This
all
is this
alleged.
is fan this is fantasy
This is like
booking.
fantasy booking here.
Yeah.
If this were to happen, I don't see Roman saying no to having. Look, the only two people I see retiring Roman Reigns,
Solo and Seth,
and maybe three.
Punk.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's either going to be Seth, who retires him, Solo, or Brock. But the only logical one I see is Seth.
I don't
Brock's
ever
just possibly. I don't care what you want, whether you want to see it or not.
I
But Brock's the
do
only one that
do
could
not
legitimately probably could be legitimately the one that does it.
do
It probably
not
won't be Brock. It
do
will probably
not
be
put
Seth.
me through another Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match,
No,
please.
no. But like if you look at the people who could be the ones that Roman would be okay with being the ones that retire him, Brock's on that list, whether you like it or not.
Probably.
Right?
Now,
But I don't think Brock's. I think it'll be Seth.
Roman's like, and the thing is like, this isn't exactly crazy because like Roman's 36,
Ooh,
37.
Roman's pushing my age. Roman's about close to me. I know Seth's 36, 37.
And so I think
So
like
range is 38.
okay, so Roman's 38. I am almost willing to bet he's got three more WrestleManias in him.
I don't see him holding the title for that long time.
No, he won't.
But I see it like, okay, so maybe Seth's not the one that takes the title off him, but maybe Seth is the one that retires him. I think Seth actually said, I think Seth is the one that retires him.
Here's what I think happens in fantasy booking land.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they're sticking with the plan. Cody wins the Rumble, goes on to face Roman. He gets his redemption from last year. Fuck the Hogan record at this point. I don't really care.
I don't think he needs to surpass Hogan. I don't think he does. I don't. If you're doing that, it's because you want to crap on Hogan, and Hogan's crapped on enough.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, he does a good enough job with it himself.
Yeah, just let him bury himself. That's all you gotta do is let him bury himself. Be fine.
Just give him a microphone and he's fine.
Yeah.
Um, and then post Mania, Solo turns on Roman, takes him out, like out. Roman goes away. Solo just goes on a run.
You've mentioned this before.
Right. Royal Rumble 2025. Number 30. Here comes Roman Reigns after being off for 9 months. And, you know, let's say Solo, you know, yeah, Solo's like one of the last guys in the Rumble. And he's just dominating. There's a few guys left, and he's standing in the countdown. And here comes Roman
Mm-hmm.
at 30,
Yeah.
takes out Solo, and Roman doesn't even have to win that Rumble. Okay?
No, he just has to eliminate Solo.
Exactly.
That's it.
Because he can then go do that Mania match with Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is also, keep in mind, if you can't get The Rock.
At this point, I don't think that Rock match is going to happen. I mean, we all want to see it. I just don't think the schedule and
Because it,
contracts involved will allow it.
I think the reason why this match keeps popping up every WrestleMania season is because it would make so much sense for this bloodline story it makes too much sense for this bloodline story.
Yeah, but there's a lot of you can argue right now too. A lot of people can argue too that the bloodline story has been going on for way too long at this point. You can
Fair
argue it.
enough.
You can
Well,
argue it.
this would be like the last chapter of the bloodline story that I'm talking about right now.
For this, be like. I mean, I think we're both in agreement here that if The Rock and Roman don't need a title for
No, you don't.
that. Yeah,
And even if so, yeah, Roman can, you know, have the program with Solo at that Mania. Work a couple small programs. You can do the Punk match somewhere in there, like a SummerSlam or something like that, and have Roman try and chase the title or something.
Mhm.
And then the thoughts start, you know, okay, maybe it's time to wind down. And Seth's the champion. Rumble 26. Before the Rumble, Roman says, look, I'm gonna declare for the Rumble. I'm gonna win it, and Seth, I'm coming for you.
Okay.
Roman wins the Rumble,
Good.
which I think has he only done it once?
He's only won the road once.
Yeah, okay.
No,
So
twice.
what was the second one? I know he won 15.
No, yeah.
I know he
No,
won
no, no. He won one. That was because The Rock came out and helped him.
that was
He was
15.
going to win the second one in a row, but then Triple H eliminated him. But he still fought Triple H at WrestleMania for the title because he won the
Yeah,
championship.
2016 was fucked up.
Yeah.
17 was Orton. 18
No, it's definitely
was 18 Roman. How did
Roman Reigns.
How did Roman end up facing Brock at Mania 34? Did he win the Rumble or did he win the Chamber?
He won the Chamber.
Okay, so Roman's only won one Rumble.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. That's 18 was Nakamura. That's it. Okay, I'm good now. But so Roman wins the Rumble in 26.
Yeah.
Goes after Seth. And Seth, along the same lines of when they were leading up to their last match at the
Mm-hmm.
2021 Rumble, you know, I've beaten you every time the title's been on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta give me something here.
Yeah.
And Roman says, look, if I can't beat you, I'll retire.
Yeah, because they only had the DQ match. Reigns has never really beaten Seth hands down.
Seth has a perfect record against Roman Reigns
Yeah.
in title matches.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that then that's where you set up the retirement match.
Yeah. Well,
Seth wins
and you said what year is this again? 2026.
2026.
So Roman would be 40, pushing 41.
Yeah.
So he'd be my current age.
Yeah. That doesn't
No,
like
no, it's not a possibility. Cody's already signed a record saying he wants to retire at 40.
right.
And Cody's not that far off from it.
No, he's like 36.
Yeah, I think him and Rollins were the same age.
Yeah. You know.
See, Cody might
So
even be younger by a year.
but yeah, so it was like so I think like, you know, obviously at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I just want everyone to be healthy,
Mhm.
you know, and not fucking have a, you know, poor quality of life because of this industry. You know, but all right. So after that 15, 20-minute sidebar.
Just to bring it back, just one last thing on it.
Yeah.
Cody's 38. He's the same age as Roman Reigns, and Seth's 37.
Yeah, but I think Seth and Cody have a lot more in the tank than Roman does.
I'm gonna
Even with Roman's the
I'd,
middle of the
I
schedule.
would say Cody has more in the tank than both of them.
Probably.
But anyway, let's get back to the rest of Raw with that little side book there.
Okay,
Go.
so that goes to the main event.
Yes.
That leads us to the main event. Um, it was Balor and Priest, Judgment Day versus the Creed brothers. And this was a good match too. Okay.
Now let's close the show. I'm surprised they didn't let the Intercontinental. I know we were mentioned earlier it was the Intercontinental title match, but I'm surprised this is the one that closed the show.
But like, dude, Priest and Balor made the Creeds look like $1 million in this match. They were so giving to these two, and they are phenomenal. Julius hit a fucking standing shooting star press like it was nothing. And you know, there was a couple close near falls too. They hit their tag team finish, the Brutus ball, which is basically like a doomsday device, but Brutus throws himself
On the person.
at the person. Yeah. Um, and yeah, it was really close, but they hit the second one on Priest after Brutus crotched Balor on the post,
All right.
and they hit it. And as Julius went for the pin, Priest hit the coup de grace on Julius to break up the pin, which led to a South of Heaven choke slam.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you know what? Julius even kicked out at like 3.5.
Oh, 2.5.
No, 3.5. Because like it was like 3, then he kicked out.
Oh,
So Judgment Day retains.
oh, mental poop.
Yeah, Judgment Day retains. And that's not the last we're going to see of the Creed brothers. I
No,
think I think they'll be tag champions before WrestleMania, if not at WrestleMania.
probably WrestleMania is probably the best bet right now.
Yep.
Like I just don't
I
see it not being at till WrestleMania. You might you're probably gonna have fantasy book really quickly here. The Judgment Day is probably gonna lose the titles at WrestleMania. And I think the question you gotta ask yourself too, as I already said too, will Priest that Money in the Bank's coming up.
I think Priest cashes in at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think he does a Seth Rollins.
I think absolutely he does.
But does he
Because here's the thing. You want to really put heat on Damien,
beat Punk?
have Rollins and Punk happen.
Yeah.
You know Punk's going over at WrestleMania no matter who he's working with.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Okay. And then you have Priest jump Punk, cash in the briefcase.
Yeah.
And then now you have Punk chasing Priest.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're gonna yeah. I don't think Punk needs a long title run.
I think to reestablish Money in the Bank as a concept,
Yeah.
I think that this cash in has to be successful. There's been too many failed cash ins over the last handful of years.
Well, on the male side, not on the female side.
On the male side, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta specify that because there's two now.
Yeah, that's true.
So you gotta specify. The women have no, but everybody's already cashed in every single time.
But the women's one is significantly younger than the men's one.
That is very true. And there's controversy that started that in the first place. But anyway.
I'm not here to get into that.
No, we're not gonna do that. Just saying.
Yeah, I think that
Pointing out the office.
I think that Damian Priest needs to be successful. And if he's not, it needs to be Judgment Day turning on him.
That's a possibility. Because he's kind of look, the Judgment Day that Damian Priest is the leader. It's really mommy.
It's Rhea.
It's Rhea. It's been Rhea for months. It's been Rhea
just
for
like
months.
Dakota Kai is the leader of Damage Control.
Yeah,
And
but
not
that's
Bailey.
more of like a like secretive heater kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
I mean,
that's
Bailey on
that's
Smack.
like Emperor Palpatine just behind everything in Star Wars until the fucking Return of the Sith. Revenge of the
Yeah,
Sith.
but I mean, to be fair, Bailey on SmackDown did call Dakota Kai the mastermind.
Yeah, but you can have a mastermind and still not be the leader,
True.
right? We've
But
seen it numerous times.
but yeah, no, overall, really good show. I enjoyed it.
Good.
Um, uh, I would give it probably 7.5, 8 out of 10.
It's a good number for the
Yeah,
last for the really the last full raw of
yeah,
this year.
yeah. And
It's been a good year for Raw.
after after our nice little fancy booking session with Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
that's going to bring an end to this one.
Mhm.
And we hope you enjoyed listening. You can find us everywhere, except for Apple. I'm
Nobody
still
likes
not.
us on Apple.
Yeah, nobody likes us at Apple.
No, Steve Jobs, who's dead, doesn't like us. His ghost does not like us.
Leave Steve Jobs out of it.
Oh, leave Steve Jobs out of it. Ooh, that. Anyway,
But anyways, yes. You can follow the show YouTube, DA Wrestling Podcast, Instagram, DA Sports Podcast, X, DA Sports Pod. Andrew's over on TikTok doing some killer shit over there.
a lot of fun there. Come join us. Follow me on there. I post stuff regularly, shorts. They're comedic. They make you laugh. They might make you think. They may even make you cry. Either way you're reacting. Have fun. Come
Uh,
join us. Join us.
on that note, I am D-Lines 1991 on X. He is April 1982 on Instagram, and we'll catch you down the road.
Best luck to you, folks. Be safe. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.